Welcome to the Plentiful Goddess podcast. My name is Jessica Caravad and I'm a holistic coach for women, certified vegan nutritionist, fitness trainer, yogi, and Reiki master. I have coached hundreds of women worldwide, and I made it my mission to help women from all around the world transform their lives and health in ways they didn't think was possible. If you're looking to uplevel your health, learn about the best practical tips on vegan health and fitness, master your menstrual cycle, improve your relationship with food, and so much more, so that you can reconnect with the powerful woman that you're meant to be, then you have come to the right place. My goal in this podcast is for you to help you step up your game, reconnect with yourself as a woman, and elevate your health and life. We are going to have so much fun in this podcast. Are you ready? Let's begin. Hello, my plentiful goddesses. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I hope you are having an absolutely blissful week, day, morning, evening, midday, whenever you're listening to this. I am so excited for this episode, guys. So since I started reframing and repurposing these this podcast and just really focusing on what feels aligned with me, but also my business and what we do, it has just come very natural to invite people that really inspire me and that have also helped me grow personally. And so I really wanted to invite my beautiful friend Eileen onto this podcast. She is a Chakra Alignment Coach, and honestly, seeing her grow in her business, but also seeing her growth personally has been such an amazing journey. And I've had her on my coaching program as an expert a couple of times already, and my clients have loved her every time that she comes on. Her teachings and everything that she shares with my clients has just been it's just been a wonderful experience, and I'm just so grateful that I have her in my life and that we had some time to record this podcast episode. And the special part about this episode is that we were just literally sitting next to each other because she came to Berlin and we decided to just record this podcast episode while we're here. And so this was really wonderful to do that together, and not only do that through the screen, how I usually do podcast episodes. So yeah, I just don't want to even share too much because, already in the title, I think the title already says a lot, and she just really speaks a lot about her own journey. And I know you will love this. I know you will be able to relate to this, and you will be going to learn so much. So without further ado, let's enjoy this podcast episode. Welcome, Eileen. I'm so excited to have you on here. We have known each other now for over a year, which is over a year. Yeah, it's been a year. Mm-hmm. Holy shit. So we've known each other for a while, and you're the first time, sitting here in my living room. So I wanted to get you on here. As I already told you, you're such a powerful human being, and I love the work that you do. That's also why I've been inviting you to coach my clients personally in my program. And so I would love for you to just quickly introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, and then we can get into the details, even further during our chat today.
Okay, that sounds good. Hi, everyone. My name is Eileen. Thank you so much, Jess, for inviting me here. I'm so grateful to be here to get to chat with you about my story and what I do. So I'm a Chakra Alignment Coach. That's what I do. I serve women powerfully to reconnect with their feminine side, because through my own experience and my self-healing journey, I got to a point, or to my mission really, to help other women do the same, to heal and rebalance their energies. So that's what I do. I am traveling. I find myself a lot being either in New York, Germany, or Cape Town, and I have started my online business in order to hold space for other women and help them heal.
Yes, I love that. Okay, quick question, because I don't think I ever asked you that. Why New York, Cape Town, and Germany?
Yeah, well, I used to live in New York for a while, and that's where I started the journey of being in a corporate, working in corporate, and I then really needed some some balance. So then I decided to travel to Cape Town to live there with my now fiance, and I am originally from Germany. So that's the connection there.
Okay, I love that. So you travel back and forth because you have friends there and you want to like kind of visit them and stuff,
yes,
right?
Exactly. I also love just connecting with clients that I have all over the world, just to see each other personally.
Oh, I love that.
That's
that's
always
nice.
lovely.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm planning as well. By the end of the year, maybe do like a little retreat or something and like invite the clients. It would be so cool. But love that. Amazing kind of story also to see, you know, you're pretty young still and you've already like experienced quite a lot, and you have come to this place where you're now able to really help so many women from all around the world. You know, when we hear you speak English, like, you don't sound German, right? You know that, which is probably because you lived in New York.
Right.
But before we get into your story, just quickly background on how we met. Maybe you would like to share that.
Yeah, actually through my fiance, who's also a mindset coach. It was in Berlin. We saw each other. We were at the restaurant and just immediately connected. So kind of, had this connection to help women and bring them back into their innate power.
Yes. And I think I remember back then you were still at your very beginning. You were still like, Mario, your fiance, told me like, hey, you should connect with Eileen. Like, she's also getting into this new space and still is like trying to figure out where she wants to go, which I think is crazy that, it's been a little bit over a year and you're at this point already where you're having such great impact and working with clients from all around the world, which shows how quickly a journey can go if you're good at what you're doing and if you actually have an impact. So I would love to know a little bit more about your story. Like, what made you got to this place where you decided, no, I need to leave New York? You quickly mentioned balance. So what happened in New York specifically that made you decide that you wanted to change your life?
So it all started with me wanting to live the American dream in New York, pretty much. I had this ideal in my head, and I wanted to just see where I can go. I had this ideal of wanting to make a lot of money, be a successful woman, and then I always felt drawn to New York. I come from a family where my dad used to work a lot, so I linked working a lot and feeling stressful at the same time. So I linked that together, but I knew that I also wanted to be as successful, so work hard. So I knew I wanted to go to New York, and I pretty much sacrificed everything in Germany. I started studying there, and I realized this is not for me. Quit it, moved to New York, and started working as a hospitality manager. Of two event spaces in Manhattan, and working 24/7, just hustling, making all that, or achieving all the goals that I set myself. But when I got to that point, I realized this is not what I was truly secretly hoping for, to live that dream, to feel fulfilled and happy. Actually the opposite. I felt extremely miserable. I was facing almost daily panic attacks, and I got to a point where I had to stop, where I had to pause and make that decision to either continue that path and slowly burn out, or reconnect with my body, my needs.
You were making a lot of money at that time too?
Yeah, lots of money. But I always thought that this is what I wanted, right? But we want things to feel things. So I wasn't aware of that to that time, but that was...
How old were you?
I was 21.
Okay, wow, still pretty young.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just challenged myself, and so experiencing that, it was heavy suffering, and I wouldn't wish that to anyone, but I really needed that, and I see it now as a gift for me to realize, hey, there's more to life. That is not what you're seeking. You're seeking true fulfillment and joy in everyday life. So through that stress and that really like I wasn't confident enough to set healthy boundaries. I was constantly available. I was running from A to B. I was just constantly trying to give my best and to control the outcome, and actually feeling guilty when I then took time for my own pleasure.
Masculine energy, right?
Yeah. Speaking of, that force, that can be so strong, right? Our achieving, our doing mode. But if we don't balance it out with the feminine, right? With just surrendering and just being and resting and pausing, then it's not sustainable.
Can you give for someone listening that doesn't know what we're talking about, like, what are you talking about? Masculine, feminine, never heard about this before. So can you give a quick overview of like what is feminine and masculine energy?
Yeah. So, I mean, despite the gender, we all have these two forces inside of us, right? Masculine energy is associated with the force that is behind the achieving, the doing, right? The getting things done, the logical thinking, which is, we need both parts. However, if we're strongly in that, we don't allow ourselves to fully rest without feeling guilty, right? Or without having that strong sense of we need to do more and more and more. It's never really enough. So that's the masculine. Again, we need it to take action, to move forward. And then there's the other side to it, the feminine energy, which is heavily suppressed in the society that we live in, right? The feminine is really just allowing us to feel, to value our emotions that are also heavily suppressed, because we feel this urge to survive in the world, right? To compete. So the feminine is about surrendering, is about the loving, the gentle aspects of our being, the caring, our compassionate side, right? When we're tapping into our heart space and being soft with one another, that's our feminine. So it's really important to find that balance between the two.
Yeah. Listening to this, like, I find myself still to this day really, dominantly more in the masculine, just because I'm like, kind of what you said, like, I'm used to what how you saw with your dad. I'm used to like work. And so now I'm at a point where I can switch a lot easier because I've learned it, but it used to be super hard for me too. So going back to, your story. So you found yourself way too much in your masculine, which probably was also causing you to burn out. So what happened then? Like you also said, besides your career in the corporate, you were also trying to model or something like that. So can you give us a little bit more insight on that too? Were you doing that in the parallel, trying to do everything at once, or how did it look like back then?
Yeah, so while I was still in New York, it was always kind of my dream to become a model and to dive into that world. So after I was still living in New York, and I was very interested, and I had an agency that wanted to work with me there. However, the visa didn't allow this. So after quitting my job, after God, universe, whatever you want to call it, stopped me in order to look at my wounds and start my healing journey, I then still had this urge. I mean, of course, it's not done. Like all your limiting beliefs of, filling that internal void is not gone within an instant, but it kind of let me move into a space of, okay, I'm going to go to Cape Town. I'm going to calm things down. And then I started to become a model and sign there with a wonderful agency. That was also a very interesting journey of still embodying the masculine, still wanting to achieve. And then, of course, in that world, just living a vision of someone else and not really connecting with my body, right? The sense of comparing yourself to others, not realizing that you are a unique expression, but just actually disconnecting more and more with my body, because I wanted, you want to be skinnier and all that to achieve more and to be better than others. So I think that I would love for you to go a little bit deeper into your experience with wanting to be a model and
how much that has also probably impacted your mental health and the comparison and like wanting to or needing to be a certain body type, needing to be skinnier, needing to whatever. How did that impact you?
So I think what really drove me to become a model, now that I can reflect back and I've done so much work on myself, it was really to fill something inside, to fill a void, because I never really felt good enough, right? So because I didn't give this myself and I had no idea what self-love even meant, I craved the validation from the external world, which when we depend on the external world, right, it controls us. So I truly didn't accept myself fully. And that goes back to the feminine force, right? When we're connected to that, we're just accepting the way we are, right? Self-love is just accepting the way we are. So it was a struggle for me really back then with my mental health, to feel good in my body, right? To eat something and not think about how, you know, you gain weight now and all these things that are just racing through the mind. And but I really needed to go through that to see that it's not about that, right? That it's not about having the most beautiful or perfect or skinny body, that it's so much deeper than that we're actually craving, you know, that sense of love for ourselves and therefore for others. Yeah.
It's so funny because when we first met, I'm a little stalker, you know, so I was like scrolling through your Instagram, and I love how I saw the shift of what you described, that New York person model version of yourself. And then, you know, your posts started to become more like minimalistic and more calm. I think that's the right word to say, like calm. Also your Instagram stories, like you're always very calm in your stories. That's, I love watching you because whenever I see your stories, I feel a sense of calmness too, because I'm not calm, like not like you are, you know. You have that ease with you, and I'm like usually very like on top, like not screaming, but I'm loud and I'm like you know, powerful and a lot masculine, of course. But you're really like embodying this feminine, this like ease, this flow, and a lot of that self-care. You show all of that on Instagram, and it's just, again, I just wanted to point that out because I think it's so funny to see your evolution from like how you used to be when I saw your Instagram pictures to like who you are now. I don't know if you still have them, but keep them, because I think it's beautiful to see, you know, that path of yours. So once you discovered, okay, you know, the corporate world is not my world, New York is not my world, the modeling, is that still something that's kind of on your mind sometimes? Like, does it still want to come out for you of like wanting to be a model, or not at all?
Not at all. I passed that chapter. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Okay. So it wasn't like a childhood dream of yours. It was more what you said. It felt like you wanted to feel something that wasn't there.
Yeah. And I think I wanted to prove that I can do it. But I had this illusion that it would give me what I was looking for, truly, you know, self-acceptance and self-compassion too. Which then also taught me that I need to first look within to create that, right? To change my emotional home and to learn that I no longer have to depend on my external world in order to feel satisfied in the moment.
How did that happen, that click? Because these kind of clicks don't happen in a moment. So what happened?
It's a journey. It's really a journey. I dove more into, you know, emotional work and releasing a lot of traumatic events that we all have, right? The really diving, and that's also part of the feminine aspect, really allowing ourselves to feel through emotions, right? What we feel, we heal. So it was part of the journey that I then looked into, you know, doing lots of different shamanic ceremonies and breath work with out-of-body experience and all these so many different things that I did, right? I had a mindset coach, and all that helped me to get there and to realize that I need to look at my emotions, which are the foundation of everything we do, of all the actions we're taking, right? But we're usually not aware of it because we suppress it. So when people say like, oh, I feel so stressed, the underlying emotion is usually fear, right? So, and it was really a path, you know, the journey, and that looks different to everyone. But feeling through that and releasing the energy, you know, the emotions, energy, emotion, releasing that helped me to reconnect with my feminine energy. And I love that you said that with my post. And yes, there's such a difference. However, I still love to embody both too. You know, it's
That's
like
what I was
you can
trying
be
to tell,
it's I still have like a sassy, fun side to me, and I think that's also important to understand that we can be both, you know, and it's so fun to.
You don't need to be put into a category specifically.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love that. You already mentioned emotions and kind of touched a little bit on when you feel stressed, the underlying emotion is usually fear. What does that mean?
What does
For
that
someone
mean?
that's listening is like, huh? I don't get you. So,
you know, throughout our life, we experience events, and the body, the subconscious mind, stores emotions, a different range of emotion, which when we had caretakers where you're allowed to fully express, right, to scream, to let anger out, which a majority of people didn't have, because we live in a society where it's better to have a quiet kid, you know, to not let that energy out. So what you're subconsciously taking with you is you're not safe to express your emotions. And this can be fear, anger, guilt, shame, you name it, right? So we suppress it, and it piles up in the subconscious. So throughout our life, right, without facing those emotions, it piles up, and then we are confused when we're older that there's such an anger behind our actions, so that we can be super explosive. You know, something happens and you're just lashing out. Why is that? Well, there's deeply suppressed emotions behind that you never felt safe to release. And emotions are just energy in motion, right? It's an energy running through your body that needs to flow. However, when we suppress, it's no longer able to flow, so it becomes stagnant and just piles up. And so I hope this gives you a little bit more.
No, it does. I love that, because that's kind of what I also talk a lot about with my clients. And I think it's so important, because at the end of the day, what you said, like it affects everything that we do in life, right? If we like, and sitting there with your emotion is freaking hard. Like a lot of times, that's why what you say, people suppress it, repress it, or they have a hard time expressing it, because it's like, how do you even do that, right? So I know you call yourself a Chakra Alignment Coach, and you work with emotions, you work with breath work. So how did you get it, like, you know, from you being, you know, that person in New York trying to become someone who you were not, to the person that you are today? Like, how did that look like for you, and how did you now decided to become a Chakra Alignment Coach with all of those modalities that you're teaching?
So through me going through these downs and through the suffering, I kind of felt moved into exploring how I can help myself. And that's why I back then started to do my, that was kind of like my door opener into this self-healing journey, was a yoga teacher training that I did. And then I became super obsessed with breath work, and just really experimented on myself and saw what helped me to heal. So I then collected all these things that really helped me and trained myself, went through certifications to really learn how to hold the space for others, especially women, to be supported in their healing journey. So that's the path I took. Yeah. Was there another question?
No, all good. I think this is great because you found kind of what has helped you and you've turned it into something that, you know, you can help others with. So
right. To add to that, sorry.
Yes. Go ahead.
I then also got really interested in the power of the mind and reading lots of books and just following my mentor, Dr. Joe Dispenza, who is such an inspiration to me. I began to obviously start meditating and use visualization meditations and realize the immense power of our own thoughts. And while holding space, and for one of my clients, for example, when she gave birth, her two bones in her pubic area, they misaligned. So we were going through my program and I used a lot of visualization meditations with her, and she was actually able to realign physical bone structure with this. That's the power of, you know, we can shift matter from just the power of the mind. So I then looked at the ancient chakra system and implemented that into my programs because they really are associated with all of our human, challenges and struggle that we all have with our bodies. And they're associated with the core emotions or heightened emotions that most of us are struggling with. So guilt, shame, anger, and in order to release that, I use these chakra visualizations to bring that energy, the emotions back into their flow.
Can you give an example? So for example, I know that I don't have a lot of trust, like my
trust in what?
General trust in life.
Okay.
So my root chakra is usually the one that's blocked for me. So how would that look like?
How would that look like? What do you mean?
How would the work look like that we would do together, just as an example?
Oh, okay. So what we would look at is the root chakra is associated with fear, right? So what is the underlying fear actually that you're scared to dive into? What can be really powerful is even visualizing your deepest fears, right? Because then you make it real in your mind, and your body realizes, wait a minute, this is actually not that scary because I'm still alive, right? Oftentimes the mind thinks it's so scary, like I can't take this. Yeah, we're super, super, super strong. Yeah. So how that would look like is I guide NLP techniques where we kind of rewire neural pathways in your brain to not make fear so scary to you. And then again, like I said, focus, where focus goes, energy flows. So really focusing on that part of your body and journaling and reflecting on your fear, because the root is, it's our connection to Earth. It shows us how deeply connected are we with Earth, right? Are we deeply rooted with both of our feet into Mother Earth or not, right? So then there are simple techniques then that can help to rebalance that, such as really going into nature and reconnect. And
yeah, I love that. It sounds so simple at the end of the day, right? Something that a lot of times it's also something sometimes that I say is like, we overcomplicate a lot of the things that can be actually so simple because we have it all in us. Yeah. Right? We try to look at all of these different things while actually we are able to heal ourselves with what you said, like the power of our mind. That's what Joe Dispenza is teaching as well. And I love that you had that example of your client being able to literally do something where doctors would be like, that's not possible. Like It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And you were able to help her. That's absolutely amazing. How was that for you? You being a powerful female on this planet Earth, stepping into creating your own business. And of course, I guess there was a lot of fear associated with it as well, of like, am I going to succeed? Is this going to work out? Are people are they going to want to work with me? So how was that for you? Like really stepping into that role, and also you were flowing kind of through different, let's call it like ways of working with clients, right? You would give yourself different names until you found like the one thing that really worked for you. So tell us a little bit more about that story.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely scary. Yeah, I was very scared. However, I just, worked on myself. I did a lot of mindset work around that, and a lot of self-worth, reconnecting with my worthiness. And it helped me to realize that I can change, that I can change my inner critic, my self-doubts that I had before starting my business, right? That voice that's like, you don't have what it takes, and I'm sure you can't do it, and all that. So it was scary, but then I also allowed myself to surrender, because I deeply believe that we are supported, and when we come from the heart and with the right intention and connect with people, and your mission is truly to help others become their best version, then you're guided. You are supported, and you will find a way, and other people perceive your energy, right? It's when you come from that space, instead of, okay, I want to, my New York energy, I want to make a lot of money, and that doesn't work, right? So,
I mean, it can work.
It can work. Exactly. It's not sustainable. Let's say it that way. So I just thought to myself, just try it out. What do you have to lose? And I reconnected with my values. What do you actually want, right? I want to help people. I want freedom. I want to travel a lot. So building my online business then gives me that, or allows me to create my dream. So I shifted a lot, yes, but I also kind of let go of what others now might think, right? Oh, you're going to say you're this. I am always evolving, and I own that. And I just go with what helps my clients and what feels right. And if I'm going to move into a different direction, then that's also just fine, as long as I feel it, and I have this inner sense of this is your way, then...
And trust, I guess. Right?
Yeah, and trust, deep trust, which I do through, meditations a lot, to come back to that, to that inner restful place, to move beyond the stories that are basically just lies, So reconnecting with that innate knowing that we all have, with that intelligence, just provides such peace. So from that state, nothing can go wrong, really, because you're just trusting the universe so much that it can, that that it will lead you to where you need to go next, and that every challenge is there to teach you something, because then you just without it, you're just stagnant. You're not growing. So again, mindset work as well, shifting from, why is this happening to me, to, whoa, okay, this person can actually be my greatest teacher right now. Why is this person in my life? What is that person reflecting to me,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You say that it's it sounds very easy, right? It's not, just accept, flow. And yes, of course, it's when, after you've experienced that and you've seen that, you're held basically and nothing can happen to you. It's a lot easier, of course, to say that once you've experienced that. I'm sure while you were experiencing it, you did probably have moments of am I on the right path? Where am I supposed to go next? I know for me, that's kind of my fear, where I'm also in this position right now where I'm just starting to see that I haven't been feeling fully aligned with what I was doing, right? I kind of already told you, I'm shifting more also into the inner healing, and just seeing that it's something that whenever I do speak about it, my heart just opens up. I literally feel like the universe is calling me there. But there is the fear. There is the fear, can I just leave everything else behind and focus on that? Right? It's always this part where, but so many clients have already helped with that, right? And I want to stay there, and I still want to kind of offer that, but at the same time, I feel kind of my calling is to go even deeper, to do that. but there's this fear. So I just kind of wanted to, share that with you, because I know a lot of people feel that way, where they're kind of like at this point where they might not feel 100% happy at their job, and they are scared to take the leap that they can quit and then eventually find something that feels aligned with them. What would you tell that kind of person, being in my position or someone else that is kind of in a position of like knowing that they're at the wrong place, but taking that first step into something new seems hard?
That's a great question. I mean, first of all, I would really allow yourself to sit with that fear, right? It sounds very simple. However, we don't do it. We are conditioned to distract ourselves, right? With our phone, with the TV, with our computer, with shopping, food, sex, whatever it is, right? So first of all, just learning to be with yourself and your emotions, right? Detaching from the energy that's running through your body, which is the emotion. So we usually identify with it, right? Oh, I'm scared. I'm angry. I am identity, right? So what I usually suggest with my clients also is to watch the language that we're using, okay? So can we first go from I'm afraid to I experience anxiety or fear, whatever that emotion is, right? Because with that creates space. So we come back to what we truly are, right? The consciousness having the experience of fear right now that's in the body. So when we distract ourselves from that, it gives us the power back, right? We connect with that deeper truth, which is joy. It's definitely joy. However, we forgot that this is the undercurrent of every emotion that we have. So again, every heightened emotion is valid, but first of all, it's important that we sit with it, because it's there to be released, and maybe even have a conversation with it, right? Why thank it for being there? It's always serving us something, right? The body doesn't just do something. It's always, it's there, it serves a purpose. So just sitting with that and maybe journaling on it, right? What's the worst that could happen? Because the mind always thinks in worst case scenarios, right? Because we have it to survive. So just realizing, just maybe making a list and journaling on it, like, yeah, what's actually the worst that could happen? And then you maybe realize, well, okay, that's not that bad. Maybe I can really make that step and do that. So that would be my advice, to just, feel the feeling. Yeah.
Even though it's hard sometimes, right?
Yeah.
It's hard. But what you say, like, we don't do it enough. We distract ourselves with like anything basically in life, right? That's why we like also a lot of times overwhelmed, I guess, with like so much information that we are bombarded with on a daily, right? If it's like Instagram, if it's a TV, if you even go out and like everywhere you see something, if it's a tram passing by and you see an ad, like your subconscious is processing all of it. So it's important, that what you say, that you meditate, that you create that space for yourself, and something that like, especially, a lot of times people say, oh, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to like, meditate, or I don't have time to be. What's your take on that?
Well, it all starts internally. So by taking the time for yourself, you allow your external to shift as well, right? It's also a sign to be afraid to sit with yourself, which is okay, right? We fear the fear. We fear the emotion, which is another layer on top of an emotion, because it seems scary, and that's okay, right? That's okay. But when we allow ourselves to really go there, what we'll experience is that emotions fade, right? What we resist will persist. So by not doing it, you're inviting it more into your life. And by just sitting with it and allowing yourself to have that time, you will be more productive, which then, gives you what you're looking for, to work faster or be more productive, or whatever that might be. But it starts internally. by shifting how you feel internally, you then, show up more confidently, and you express yourself and your needs. You're able to set healthy boundaries because you're coming from a deeply rooted place of ease and peace. So
I love that you said that it's also going to shift your environment, because at the end of the day, of course, if you work on yourself, your energy changes, your aura changes. That's when you will start attracting great people into your life, right? Oftentimes when we are miserable ourselves, we tend to attract those people too. And we ask ourselves, why are we having a hard time stepping out of it? Why do we constantly, for example, attract same partners, right? Same relationships, or same friends, or so it's very important that a lot of times we think, oh, I don't have the time for myself. But at the end of the day, you're also doing people in your life a, how do you call it? Disservice, I guess,
disservice, right? If you're not taking care of yourself. For sure.
Because people around you feel it when you're not good yourself.
Big time. Yeah, no, I mean, just to quickly add to that, I love what you're saying, especially, once you cultivate a high vibrational energy internally and externally, your aura, then the universe can only send you that which is in vibrational match with that. So when you go out and you're angry, all the bad things, happen to you. And that's, so I love that you brought that up, because it's so important to shift that energy, and then in order to call in abundance and more possibilities.
And I think it's also the same with money. It's like, and I like the example of my dad. My dad always used to say, money is shitty, money is we don't need money, whatever. He always had this super negative relationship with money. He always loses money. He always has to pay something. He always has bills, and always. And I feel like this is a great example, which is a real life example. And this happens with everything in life, not only money, but everything that you want to call in, depending on what you say to yourself and your thoughts and all of that. I think it's just so cool, because at the end of the day, what happened as well, just personal example, I told you before the call, but only a little bit. I had this one spot still open in the Plentiful Goddess program, right? That I just launched. And I really for me, it's important that I attract really soul clients. I don't work with everyone. If I meet someone and I feel the vibration or, the energy is off, I know it's not going to work. So I either way don't continue the call, or I tell the people I'm sorry, but it's not meant to be. And so I had this space open, I think for 5 or 6 days, where I was there's only one space open. And I just decided to meditate on that and to visualize that one person that I'm gonna call in that is super excited to join the program, that knows about the program, that did the work, and is the soul client that the moment you connect with that person, it. Yeah. And it happened today. It happened today. So I got on the call, I'm having chills. She was already I did all of my homework, I watched all of your videos, I know all of the testimonies, and I was holy shit, this is so thank you, universe. Yes. This shit works. Yeah. It works. And sometimes we're so busy trying to think about the how, instead of just letting it come to us.
Yeah, right? I was just gonna add to that. Yes, because then it's also important to, again, leave the masculine, okay, I'm gonna have this ideal client and envisioning and doing all the manifestation work. Yes. But then again, surrendering and allowing the abundance to come in, which you did, which is so amazing.
Exactly.
I love that.
And not constantly overthinking of how it's gonna happen, but just trusting it's gonna come, and that you don't need to push. Because especially in the beginning of my business, I would constantly push. I would it was very, very masculine. I would, do a lot of work myself, reaching out to people. Now I'm more of no, the right people are going to come to me. And if it's meant to be, I'm not going to force anyone to work with me if they don't feel aligned with it. Because then at the end of the day, it's a sign. It's a sign from the universe. And no, girl, you don't want to work with that person. If that person's not excited, It's fine, right? And that is, again, this is just an example like how life works in general with everything. So I know we need to get to an end slowly because we have a dinner. I know, we should do like a second one. But I would love for you, Eileen, to tell us, what are your future goals? Of course, side note, you're going to be part of the Plentiful Power program as well, a beautiful coach of ours. And I'm so excited to have you because you're going to help so many amazing women as well shift emotions and do a beautiful breathwork exercise with you, which I'm very excited about.
Me too, so excited.
But what's also your personal like future and business goals? Like what's coming up for you in the next couple of months?
What I really feel is, and it's happening already, just expanding and being able to help more and more women on a bigger scale because it's needed in this world. I envision, bringing healing into the world through the feminine. And yeah, this is how I'm contributing and creating space. And also I'm envisioning coaching programs, group coaching programs as well to help more people on a bigger scale. So that's pretty much my vision. I'm super excited to just expand and also just hold space and remind women that we have this beautiful, innate, very powerful energy that we can come back to and create from that space. So that's my vision. And also just, traveling a lot and taking a lot in and implementing that throughout my journey into my programs as well. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I love you're literally living the life that you've envisioned of like traveling and being able to help people from wherever you're at, which is just so beautiful and so powerful. And I'm excited to see, your growth. And I already told you, like, you've grown so much since, the first time that we met. And I can't wait to see even more stuff that you're gonna learn and then also, help your clients with. So that's so beautiful. I'm so excited to have
Appreciate
you on the program.
Oh,
it's gonna be so great. And so last words, where can people find you? How can people work with you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and follow me there for lots of insights, especially how to tap into the feminine through different modalities, breath work, meditation. So you can find me at Eileen, Voigt. It's a German last name, pretty challenging for
I'm gonna post it in the show notes so
yes,
people can go there too.
Or you can just check out my website at eileenvoigt.com and contact me there.
You learned this by heart, right?
Yeah.
So that is just like quick.
Exactly.
I love that. Yeah. Thank you so much. Guys, check her out. She's amazing. And the work that she's doing is super powerful. So definitely you're going to learn a lot from her. So thank you again,
Eileen. Thank you, Jess, so much for having me.
And yes, let's get to have dinner now.
Okay, let's go.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening to this. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and make sure you follow Eileen on Instagram, but you also follow me on Instagram. It's at Jessica Carvad. You will find me there. You can make sure that you just share any insights that you want to share with me, any ideas on who I should invite next onto this podcast, or maybe it's you. If you want me to invite you, let me know and let's schedule an amazing episode. Otherwise, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Enjoy it to the fullest. Connect with your feminine energy, and I'll talk to you very soon. All right, take care.